Hello children, welcome to online classes. My name is K. Santoshi, Physics CRT, KGB Visarukota, Srikakulam. Today we are discuss 10th class Physical Science, chapter number 2, that is Acids and Bases. In the last class, we have discussed about what are acids and what are bases, what are physical and chemical properties, and how to know when they are given substance an acid or a base, and also discussed strength of acid or base, concentrated acid or base, concentration of more number of H3O plus ions or OH minus ions per unit volume is called concentrated acid or base. Next one, dilute acid or base. Decrease in concentration of number of H3O plus ions or OH minus ions per unit volume is called dilute acid or base. Dilute acid or base means decrease in concentration of number of H3O plus ions or OH minus ions per unit volume is called dilute acid or base. Dear children, Sorensen has invited a scale for measuring the concentration or the strength of acids and bases. pH scale. A scale for measuring hydrogen ion concentration is called pH scale. P means potential or power in German. Sorensen introduced the concept of pH. Children, are you looking into that colorful scale? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 and 14. So this scale is calibrated 1 to 14. 1, 2, 3. The representation for strong acid, and 4, 5, 6 is the representation of weak acid, and 7 represents the neutral solution. 8, 9, 10 represents weak base. 11, 12, 13 and 14 represents strong base. 1 to 6 represents acid on pH scale, and 8 to 14 represents a base on pH scale. pH in acids and bases. Let us look the hydrogenium ion or hydrogen ion concentration. If it is more, it indicates pH is low. That implies it is an acid. On the other side, if you see OH minus ion concentration is more, lot of OH minus ions implies high pH value. That implies the solution is a base. Let us look at the pH scale of various daily life substances. We use 0 acid. 0 acid in the battery is very strong, and it represents 0 on pH scale. 1 represents the stomach acid, that is hydrochloric acid. 2 on the pH scale represents vinegar. 3 on the pH scale represents orange juice. Orange juice is the pH value is 3. Similarly, tomato. Tomato has a pH value of 4. When we take black coffee has a pH value of pH is 5. Similarly, urine has a pH value of 6. All these substances are acidic in nature. When we take water, it is neutral. It is neither acidic nor basic. So it stands at 7 on pH scale. Seawater, on the other hand, is little bit basic. It has 8 on pH scale, indicating that it is a weak base. Baking soda stands at 9 on pH scale. It is also a weak base. Indigestion tablet, that is antacid, whatever we take when we suffer with gastric problem, it stands on 10 on pH scale. Ammonia solution is at 11 on pH scale. Soapy water is once again alkali and it is 12 on pH scale. Bleach is 13 on pH scale. The toilet cleaner or drain cleaner is 14 on pH scale. So children, now you have observed what is pH scale and what are the various substances what we use in daily life, what are its levels, all calibrations on the pH scale. Tomato juice stands at 5, the toilet cleaner stands at 14. It indicates whether the given substances is an acid, whether it is a strong acid or a weak acid, whether it is a strong base or a weak base. Now given a substance, how can we identify whether it is a strong acid or a strong base, or a weak acid or a weak base?
Hello scientific audience. So today I am going to perform an experiment of grade 10 chemistry. This is the pH paper test on various chemicals. So here we have acetic acid, also known as ethanoic acid. We have dilute HCl, dilute NaOH, citric acid from lemon, water, sodium chloride, and sodium hydrogen carbonate. It is also known as sodium bicarbonate. This is the pH chart that we are going to follow for our experiment. There are numbers written corresponding to different colors. Now our pH paper is yellow in color, which will be shown to you shortly. Then we are going to add these chemicals over this pH paper and we are going to notice the color change. Whichsoever color that appears on this pH paper, we will find the number which is just written over the color, and that would be the pH of that particular chemical. So now let's begin with the acetic acid, and I have arranged the pH paper in front of these chemicals. Now sodium chloride and sodium hydrogen carbonate are solid salts, so I have made their solutions by adding water to it in test tube. Now let's start with the acetic acid first. So I'm going to add acetic acid with the help of dropper over the pH paper and we'll notice the color change. Then we are going to match it with our color chart and we'll assign the pH number written aside it. Similarly, we are going to perform it for all other chemicals. Now I had already added a small piece of pH paper into sodium chloride solution, you can see the change in the color, and it is appearing almost slight greenish in color. Similarly, sodium bicarbonate solution was taken and a small piece of litmus paper, a small piece of pH paper was added to it. Let's notice the color change in each of these pH papers.
Now let us know the importance of pH in our daily life. If the value of pH is less than 5.6, it is called acid rain. If the pH value lies between 0 to 6, it is an acid. If the pH value is less than 5.6, then it will be a strong or a moderate acid. And what we get is acid rain. That implies when we test the pH value of a rain, if it is less than 5.6, it implies it is an acid rain. Why do we get acid rains? Because of pollutions. The sulfur oxide and nitrogen oxides present in air are the cause for formation of acid rain. Let us look at the common example of tooth decay. Tooth decay starts when the pH of mouth is lower than 5.5. Why does tooth decay occur? The tooth enamel is made up of calcium phosphate, which is very strong. It is the strongest part in our body. It cannot be dissolved in water, but it is easily corroded with acids. When we eat the sugar particles or the food particles, they defragment and they are produce bacteria, and this bacteria produce acids, and the saliva or the plaque on the tooth will be acidic in nature, and this will damage the tooth enamel. Then what should be done immediately after eating? We should brush our teeth with a proper toothpaste, which is alkaline in nature. This alkaline nature of the toothpaste neutralizes the acid in the mouth and the tooth decay will never occur. Another common example of the pH importance is when we have gastric trouble. Children, in your home, you might have seen people suffering from gastric problem. For digestion of food, stomach produce hydrochloric acid, but you suffer from indigestion. Stomach produce more amount of hydrochloric acid and causes pain. So to reduce this gastric problem, we use antacid or mild alkaline. Another important of pH value in our daily life is the strength of soil, where the soil is healthy, whether it is neutral, whether it is acidic, or whether it is basic. If the soil is healthy, it should be natural and in neutral. If it is an acidic soil, the plants cannot grow well. If it is basic soil, also the plants cannot grow well. So to test the pH value of soil, it is important to know whether the crops can grow very well in the soil or not. Now, plants require a healthier pH range for their healthy growth. Now, children, let us summarize what are the important concepts we all learned in this session. We have learned strength of acids and bases, measure the basis of pH scale, and we also learned about the important pH scale in daily life. Children, after learning the strength of acids and bases, the common feature, let us have a small follow-up activity. So, I think you might have guessed the whatever the questions is that are posed before you, children. I think the session was very much interesting to you. You have known about the strength of acids and bases in the common ions that are present in acids and bases. For more such interesting topics and to quench your thirst for knowledge of science, we are always with you, and also learn chemical reactions of acids, bases, salts formation and their uses and their preparations. Do you know how these salts are produced? Yes, it is simple chemical reactions. Whenever acid react with base leads to formation of salt. Children, please take your notebook and pen, draw 4 columns in your notebook. In first column, put serial number. In second column, you write the name of the salt. Third column, what is acid used for the preparation of this salt. In fourth column, what is the base used for the preparation of this salt. And finally, you write its chemical formula. Now you see, for example, if I take a simple salt, sodium chloride, how do you prepare for NaCl? In home or a classroom laboratory? Here is S. You are right. We are mixing sodium hydroxide solution with dilute hydrochloric solution. We are getting sodium chloride. What is the acid involved in this reaction? Yes, it is hydrochloric acid, that is HCl. What is the base involved in this reaction? Yes, it is the sodium hydroxide solution. What is the formula of salt formed in here? Yes, it is NaCl. Like this, here a small exercise for you. Now I will give you some chemical compounds or salts you write their formula and also you write from which acid it is derived from and also you write from which is base it is derived from. Now you see tabular column. First salt is potassium sulfate. What is the formula? Very simple, K2SO4. What is acid used for this preparation? S. Sulfate means sulfuric acid involved in this reaction. Sulfuric acid formula H2SO4. Now what is the base involved in this reaction? S. It is potassium hydroxide. It is formula KOH. Now you write KOH plus H2SO4 leads to K2SO4. Now you have to write compounds for you. No, you start writing. Second composition is sodium chloride. Already you have given example for sodium chloride, copper sulfate, sodium nitrate, sodium carbonate and ammonium chloride. Now children, here a small exercise for you. Now let's start writing the chemical composition involved in this reaction. Now here there is an acid react with base to form a salt. What salt you have taken first? You have taken potassium sulfate. Here potassium hydroxide and sulfuric acid are involved in the chemical reaction, which is the formation of K2SO4. Now you have another example, sodium sulfate. How sodium sulfate is formed? You write the base, for it you write the acid, for it and also write chemical formula. Next another example is calcium sulfate. How it is formed? Write base, acid like the chemical formula. Last example, magnesium sulfate. What acid involved in this reaction? What is the base involved in this reaction? Next, very simple salt, copper sulfate. Which acid is involved and which base is involved in this reaction? Next another sodium chloride, sodium nitrate, sodium carbonate, ammonium chloride. Now after writing this you check once again. Now let us examine what acid involved in this reaction, what is the base involved in this reaction. Now after written this, check once again. Now let us examine what acid involved in this reaction, what is the base involved in this reaction. Now let's see, you have written within correct formulas. Just cross check along the answers. Now you see, okay. Now you see the first one. You have written potassium sulfate, K2SO4. It is the formula. What is the acid involved? Here sulfuric acid, H2SO4. What is the base involved here? KOH. Next sodium sulfate, Na2SO4. What is the acid involved here? Sulfuric acid. Formula H2SO4. What is the base involved here? Sodium hydroxide, NaOH. Now you can see acids involved in these reactions. These acids are all H2SO4 in these chemical reactions. H2SO4 reacts NaOH. Then we get Na2SO4 and H2SO4 reacts with calcium hydroxide. It is giving rise to calcium sulfate, means CaSO4. H2SO4 reacts with magnesium hydroxide. It is giving rise to magnesium sulfate, MgSO4. Please remember children, here all salts are formed along the formation of water molecule. Next you check another one. Now copper sulfate. Copper sulfate, it is derived from H2SO4 and copper hydroxide. Now next sodium chloride. Here changing the acid. NaOH is reacting with HCl to form NaCl. Next you are changing another acid. NaOH is reacting with nitric acid to form sodium nitrate. NaNO3 is its formula. Next, NaOH is once again reacting with carbonic acid. H2CO3 is its formula. Here the salt formed is sodium carbonate, Na2CO3. Children, it is washing soda. Next, ammonium hydroxide is react with HCl. You given ammonium chloride or getting a salt. Ammonium chloride, its formula is NH4Cl along the formation of water molecules. Now, what is happening in the chemical reactions? According to these chemical reactions, we can divide the salts into their family. Now, there are two types of family of salts. There are salts based on positive ion, that is cation. Another one, salts based on negative ion, that is anion. Look here children, for examples, salts based on positive ion means, for example, if you are having a salt, NaCl, it means when we dissolved NaCl in water, it dissociates into its ions. First ion is Na plus ion. What is this ion? It is a positive ion. It is also called cation. What is the another ion? Cl minus. It is anion. It is having negative sign. Now take another salt, Na2SO4. What is cation formed? Here it forms Na2 plus ions. That means it is a cation. You take another anion. Here which is formed? It is sulfate ion, SO4 2 minus ion. Now look here children, which is common on both these salts. Sodium ion is common, Na plus ion, Na2 plus ion. It is a cation, so it is called sodium salt, otherwise cation ion salt. Next category, salts based on negative ion, that is anion. Here we learn NaCl dissociates with water. It forms Na plus ion and Cl minus ion. What is cation here? S. It is sodium ion. What is anion here? S. It is chloride ion. Next, if you take KCl, dissociates with water to form potassium ions and chloride ions. What is cation here? S. It is potassium ion. What is anion here? S. It is a chloride ion. What is common ion here? S. It is chloride ion. Therefore, this salt is called categorized chloride salt or anionic salt. Now, like this, we categorize the salts into their family. It is many types of salts are there. We are based on fundamental quality based on its anion or cation. Based on the type of salts, we name them. Next, here just small discussion getting two salts. In the first case, NaCl and Na2SO4, sodium sulfate and sodium chloride. Here which is common? Cation is common. Therefore, so it is named as sodium salts. Next, type of salt. If we take, there we are setting seeing NaCl and KCl. Which anion is common here? Chloride ion. Therefore, it is named as a chloride salt. Now, from we are laboratory collect the salt samples like sodium chloride, sodium acetate, ammonium chloride, and take these salts and dissolve them in distilled water. Now, when you if the dissolve the salts in distilled water, it forms two ions. It dissociates into ions. What are the ions formed here? Sodium chloride, sodium ions and chloride ions. What one the sodium acetate ions formed? Sodium ions and acetate ions. What is the ions formed? Ammonium chloride, ammonium ions and chloride ions. Let us check whether the salts formed which this category, whether which is of the salts are acidic salts or basic salts. Now let us check the pH values of these solutions with the help of pH paper. Now after this we have to fill up this tabular column. Now take the salt NaCl, observe its pH value in pH paper. We will notice that value is 7, means it is neither acidic nor basic. It is a neutral salt. Whenever you dip a pH paper in sodium acetate solution, you will get pH value is greater than 7. That means it is basic salt. Why it is basic? You can think very easily, as ions involved in this reaction are acetative. Now look at the chemical reactions involved in this reaction. Sodium hydroxide and acetic acid. Now which is the stronger one? Either acetic acid or sodium hydroxide. As children, it is right, sodium hydroxide is the strong base when compared to acetic acid. Acetic acid is weak acid. Therefore, what will be salts formed in this category? As here sodium hydroxide is stronger. Therefore, it is basic salt. Whenever you dipped pH paper in NH4Cl. Now here you will get pH value is less than 7. That means it is acidic solution. Now what are the acids involved in this reaction? Just think, ammonium chloride is the salt. What are the bases and acids? Acid is dilute HCl, base is ammonium hydroxide. Now which is stronger one? As it is HCl is the stronger one when compared to ammonium hydroxide is a weak base. Then you can guess what will be the salt form category. Here acid is stronger. You can see that it is a acidic salt. Now here we can categorize 3 salts, ammonium chloride and also sodium acetate, and also one is stronger acid. We are getting acidic salt. If base involved in this stronger base, we are getting basic salt. Both are strong bases and strong acid, or weak acid and weak bases. Here you will get the salt of neutral in nature, where pH value is found absolutely 7. Now next children, small recapitulation of this topic. Salts of a strong acid and a strong base are neutral and the pH value is 7. Already you have seen. And salts of weak acid and weak base also give us neutral and the pH value will be 7. Next, the salts of a strong acid and weak base are acidic and the pH value is less than 7. Next, the salts of a strong base and a weak acid are basic in nature and the pH value is more than 7. Now look at the children, our common salt. Now what is the formula of common salt? It is a NaCl. Now you will observe here lot of variety of common salt. Normally the white color one, which is we are seeing middle, it is rock salt. Normally we use at our homes. Did you observe this? Black color salt, it is a rock salt. It is mild from the earth crust. There are other category of salts are also here. You can see brown color. It is lemon salt, which you observe during the preparation of pulihora. in your houses and festival times. Now these are the types of lemon salt. Why this salt it is very important, children, as it is very important salt because it is used as raw material for the preparation of various salts such as sodium hydroxide and also bleaching powder, baking soda, washing soda can also be prepared by this salt. Do you know? As it is prepared from NaCl. Now let us see what is the experiment involved. How do we convert NaCl into NaOH? There is process called chloroalkali process. Here we pass chlorine gas through NaCl solution. Generally, NaCl solution is called as brine solution. Now let us see, children. Now common salt, a raw material for various chemicals. Sodium hydroxide, baking soda, washing soda, bleaching powder can also be prepared from common salt. Now, what is chloroalkali process? Now in this process, electricity is passed through the brine solution. Already we discussed what are the brine solution. It is nothing but solution of dissolved our common salts. That is nothing but sodium chloride. Whenever electricity passed through it decomposes to form sodium hydroxide. In this chloroalkali process, the solution of NaCl dissolved in water. Whenever electricity is passed through the solution, there will be cathode in this reaction. Let us see. NaCl is dissociated into its ions. What are the ions formed? Na plus ion and Cl minus ion. What is cation here? S. Na plus ion being cation is attracted towards cathode. And what is the anion here? Chloride ion. It is attracted towards anode in the form of two chlorine ions deposited together to form a chlorine gas. It exactly happen in this reaction. Whenever electricity is passed through towards the solution, now cation is attracted towards cathode and anion is attracted towards anode. Now you see the diagram. Now you see here there is an aqueous NaCl, that is nothing but brine solution. Now what is anode here? Anode is a positive terminal. What is cathode? Cathode is a negative terminal. Whenever NaCl dissociates, it forms Na plus ions. It is a cation. It is attracted towards cathode. And now we are getting the formation of Na. And now aqueous solution here, water molecule is also involved in this reaction. Now water dissociates, gets into hydrogen ions and also H plus ions and OH minus ions. Now you see these Na plus ions attract with the OH minus ions. It leads to formation sodium hydroxide. Here cathode and chlorine. Chloride ion in anode. It is attracted towards anode. It is a positive terminal. Remember students, anion is having negative sign Cl minus. Anode is having positive terminal. Therefore, Cl minus ion rush towards the anode and liberated in the form of chlorine gas. Now, this is nothing but chloroalkali process. Why? Because here chlorine gas is evolving out. The name chlorine is giving and alkali is produced. What is an alkali? It is nothing but a base, that is sodium hydroxide. Therefore, this process is called chloroalkali process. The chemical process, chloroalkali process. Now, what happens whenever NaCl molecule dissociates in water? When electricity is passed through, it forms sodium hydroxide, chlorine gas, and hydrogen gas. Next, we can see here NaOH form of a small diagram is given in your textbook. A salt is dissolved in water and electricity passed through it. What we are getting at cathode? We are getting at cathode H2 gas. What are getting at anode? We are getting at anode chlorine gas as well as NaOH solution. What we do use H2 gas? This H2 gas is used as fertilizers, and also chlorine gas is also used as a treatment for water by our municipality people, and also they will mix H2 and Cl2. They will give hydrochloric acid and also used. Now NaOH solution, it is also used in paper industry and also preparing artificial fibers. Now it is also used as a good bleaching agent. Now bleaching agent means chlorine gas is used the bleaching property. It is used as a bleaching powder to make bleaching powder also. Now let us see how do we make bleaching powder in our lab. Now bleaching powder, have you seen? As it is a good cleaning agent. It kills microorganisms. How the bleaching powder prepared in our lab? Bleaching powder is prepared by the action of chlorine on dry slaked lime. Dry slaked lime means it is nothing but lime water. Crystals of lime, they won't find any water. Small droplets of water find. Now bleaching powder is represented by formula CaOCl2. What does it mean? CaOCl2 is nothing but calcium oxychloride. Now let us see what are the uses of bleaching powder. The name indicates its bleaches. Bleaches, it is used as decolorizing agent. Normally this means will be used as in sugar industries. Also it removes color of sugar crystals, and also it is used in paper industry. Also it removes the wood pulp color to the paper, and we will get a fine color of paper that is white in color, and it is used as bleaching agent in textile industry. It is used as an oxidizing agent for many chemical industries. Now, oxidizing agent is bleaching powder. What is the formula of bleaching powder? Is CaOCl2. Here we can very active oxidizing, that is used for killing microorganisms for water. Therefore, we will drink microorganisms free of water. Cleaning our surroundings with the help of bleaching powder, thereby killing microorganisms in the area. Now, next important chemical salt is baking soda. Now, you might have observed, where do we use baking soda? Your mouth be watering. Why? As you are getting exception of mirchi and samosa and bonda. What is prepared at your home? Now you can see. The chemical name of the compound is sodium hydrogen carbonate. Why these are larger in size? Because they are mixed with baking powder in preparation of cakes. Also we use baking soda. What is the chemical name of baking soda. It is baking soda, sodium hydrogen carbonate. It represented with formula NaHCO3. Now it is prepared industrially. It is prepared from NaCl. We will take aqueous NaCl and pass carbon dioxide and ammonia through. We will get crystals of sodium hydrogen carbonate along with the ammonium chloride. In this way, they will prepare baking soda commercially. Now, what are the uses of sodium hydrogen carbonate? Normally, people baking powder mainly contains NaHCO3, but it is also along with some other components. It is nothing but calcium hydrogen phosphate and starch. In this way, you can observe baking powder and baking soda. Normally, baking powder is usually in cakes and baking soda and preparation of bonda and mirchis. Now, sodium hydrogen carbonate is also used as best ingredient for a person suffering acidity. If we take dissolved baking soda, if removes acidity, we will get immediately relief. It is also used as a fire extinguisher. That means it is to stop fire. It is used as mild antiseptic whenever some itching sensation there our skin. We can apply baking soda and we can get relief. Another important salt prepared from common salt is sodium carbonate. Do you know how it is prepared in the laboratory? If we take 2 molecules of NaHCO3 and heat, you will get sodium carbonate. Now it is a small reaction. Whenever we heat baking soda in the laboratory, you will get sodium carbonate along with the formation of water and carbon dioxide gas, both in the formation of vapor loose in the atmosphere, and only you will get sodium carbonate. After heating sodium bicarbonate, you will get normal small crystals. Again, you have to dissolve crystals in water and heat it. You need it to add more and more sodium carbonate so that it will dissolve completely. After cooling, you will get fine crystals of sodium carbonate. It is called recrystallization. Now, once again, remember children, what we are recrystallization? We are dissolved in the sodium carbonate and we are waiting for some time, 10 minutes or half an hour. In that time, you will get the formation of the crystals of washing soda. In washing soda, we observe there are 10 water molecules. Where does 10 water molecules are coming from? Now take small amount of sodium carbonate in your hand and just a drop. You will have a sensation to touch. It means it is having some water molecules. Whenever we heat it, corners of the test tube, you will observe small droplets of water. Now let us see, there is another compound like this. Copper sulfate. Do you know what is the color of copper sulfate? As it is sky blue. Background like 5 water molecules dissociated with. Now let's perform small experiment for this. Let us see. Hydrated copper sulfate is blue color. When it lost water molecule, then the color of copper sulfate colorless. Again, if you add water molecule, again it blue color of copper sulfate. Next, another important salt is prepared from NaCl is plaster of Paris. Plaster of Paris. Now, what is plaster of Paris? Normally, we use it for decorating articles and toys at our home. And also here, you can see this picture is putting a plaster of Paris bandage. Here, it is a powder of plaster of Paris. Whenever it is added to water it forms gypsum. It is hard solid mass. Therefore, we cannot bend our arm so that our bones will set right. Heating of gypsum at 373 Kelvin. Makes it lose water molecules partially to become calcium sulfate. Calcium sulfate hemihydrate. How do we prepare plaster of Paris in our lab? By taking a reagent called gypsum. It is formula is CaSO4 to H2O. Here I am taking the temperature in Kelvin 373 Kelvin, that is 100 degrees centigrade. Now it loses 1.5 H2O molecule, then CaSO4 of H2O. Here calcium sulfate hemihydrate. This is nothing but plaster of Paris. Plaster of Paris is a white powder, and on mixing with water it sets into hard solid mass due to the formation of gypsum. Now take plaster of Paris, add to water, it again forms gypsum. It is a hard solid. We have learnt about, in this topic we learnt about important salt NaCl, how it is formed, from which acids and bases, and writing their correct formula. And what are the other salts derived from NaCl? Washing soda, bleaching powder, baking soda, plaster of Paris. All these are prepared from our common salt, and also studied plaster of Paris and water recrystallization. I will give small assignment for you. Next one, refraction of light at plane surfaces. We have learnt about the reflection of light in an earlier chapter. Beauty of the nature is made apparent with light. Light exhibits many interesting phenomena. Let us try to explore a few of them. You might have observed that a coin kept at the bottom of a vessel filled with water appears to be raised. Similarly, a lemon kept in a glass of water appears to be bigger than its size. When a thick glass slab is placed over some printed letters, the letters appear raised when viewed through the glass slab. What would be the reasons for the above observations? Take some water in a glass tumbler. Keep a pencil in it. Look at the pencil from on side of the glass and also from the top of the glass. How does it look? Do you find any differences between these two situations? To answer the above questions and to give reasons for the situations mentioned, we need to understand the phenomena of refraction of light.
Hi kids! Today we will learn about refraction. So let's start. We learned what is reflection and its types already. When light exists in a single medium, air or water or glass, it moves in a single straight line and at a constant speed until it is obstructed by some object. When it is obstructed by some object, it reflects at the angle, which is the same as the angle at which it hits the object. All reflected light obeys the relationship that the angle of incidence equals the angle of reflection. Whatever will be the angle of incident ray, equal will be the angle of reflected ray. So, reflection is about the behavior of light in a single medium. Now we will learn about the behavior of light when it travels from one medium to another medium. Refraction or bending of light occurs when the light moves from one medium to another medium. It can be air to water. It can be water to air. It can be air to glass, or back, glass to air. Here's an example. When light from air enters a rectangular prism, which is another medium, it bends because the speed of light differs in different mediums. And when the light again passes from rectangular prism to the air, it again bends as its speed changes again. So, light wave changes both its direction and speed. When it enters a different medium, speed of light slows down in a denser medium. Medium of air is less dense than the medium of prism. And when light enters denser medium, it bends towards the normal. And when light enters the thinner medium or less dense medium, it bends away from the normal.
Now let's have a look at some more examples. Another example is light going through water, which can be demonstrated with a pencil in a glass container full of water. Put a pencil in a glass container. We see the image of a pencil as if it is bent. Why does it happen so? Let's try to understand.
We see everything because light falling on it gets reflected back to our eyes. But in the case of this pencil, the light falling on the half of the pencil, which is not in the water, is directly getting reflected back to our eyes without any bending. So we see that pencil's straight, but the other half of the pencil is in the water. The light falling on the pencil doesn't come to our eyes directly. It gets bent because it is coming from the water to the air. And this is why we see the other half of the pencil bent.
The image, which seems to be bent, is a virtual image of the pencil.
We cannot see the actual image of the pencil in the water because the light coming from it is bent. And we only see its virtual image, which seems as if it is bent. Here are some more interesting examples of refraction. Now go ahead and take a quiz.
Refraction of light. Have you observed the path of light when it enters from one medium to another in daily life? Does it move along straight line path or changes its direction? Let us observe some of our day-to-day experiences. For example, wet pencil, partly immersed in water, it appears to be broken at the interface of air and water. A clear pool of water always appears to be shallower than it actually is. A coin placed at the bottom of beaker containing water seems to be raised. When a thick glass slab is placed over some printed matter, the letters appear raised when viewed through the glass slab. Why does it happen? Let us understand the reason with this illustration. Let us consider a water tumbler and a pencil. When the pencil is partly immersed in water in a glass tumbler, it appears bent or broken to the observer. We know for a fact that the pencil is not bent at all. It just appears to be so. In this case, the light reaching observer from the portion of the pencil inside water seems to come from a different direction compared to the part above water. This makes the pencil appear to be displaced at the interface. Does the pencil appear to be displaced to the same extent if instead of water we use liquids like kerosene or turpentine? Will the letters appear to raise to the same height if we replace a glass slab with a transparent plastic slab? You will find that the extent of effect is different for different pair of media. These observations indicate that light does not travel in the same direction in all media. Definition: when a light ray travels from one optical medium to another, it suffers a change of direction at the surface of separation of the two media. This is known as refraction. Activity: suppose we were to place a coin in a glass of water. The light bouncing off the coin underwater, for instance, would have to first travel through the water and then the air to reach an observer's eye. At the boundary it gets refracted and reaches the observer's eye, thus appearing to be slightly raised.
Okay, thank you to giving me for this great opportunities. Thank you, students, and thank you to watching for this video. Thank you for all.